Hello. So in this lab, we will be finding the application performance bottleneck with the help of Google Cloud Trace. Now, what comes to our mind is what is this word bottleneck? So bottleneck is a constraint that prevent any system from achieving its maximum performance. Means in this lab, we will be finding the cause or the process or resource which is limiting or reducing the performance of an application. That is what are the causes or what are the resources or processes which are degrading the performance of an application. So for that, Google Cloud provides us three main tools to analyze the performance and to analyze what is the cause of a bottleneck that is degrading the performance of an application. So first tool is Cloud Trace. So Cloud Trace analyze the latency of an application. It helps us to analyze if there is some latency present in an application, that is there is some network delay due to which resource is not coming to the endpoint at the required time. And next we will analyze Cloud Profiler in the next lab, which help us to analyze is there any performance issue due to CPU utilization or memory uses that is degrading the performance of an application. And in the last lab we will be debugging our production code. Means there is some error in the production code or some loop which is limiting or reducing the performance of an application. So the purpose of this lab is to use the Cloud Trace to analyze is there any latency present in an application, means any network delay which is degrading the performance of our application. Now coming to our lab objective, that is we have to identify latency in our application. So how we can do that? So one way to do is to add any dependency in our application. What is dependency? So dependency, here we can see that dependency dependency occur when technology component, application and server rely on one another to provide the business solution or service. What it means? It means that an application is using a login page, and for that it is communicating with Google to log in a user. So for that we will need an application programming interface. So there may be possibility that a response coming from the Google may be late, means there is some network delay due to which there is performance degradation in our application. We can see this from an example. Let's take, I order something from a restaurant like some famous restaurants, some famous restaurant, Udipi restaurant. From Udipi I have ordered something, and Zomato is the delivery boy which deliver my dosa sambar to me. Now there is a possibility that dosa sambar is being prepared early, but Zomato delivery boy is slow, so it deliver my order very late. So we have to analyze that my order is received late due to the Zomato delivery boy. Now this is the same thing as network delay, that is latency. So in the case of an application, our application redirect to the login page and waiting for the response from the Google. Now there is a possibility that application programming interface which carry this information, there is some latency present due to this API from the third party, that is Google. So there is some latency present due to this. So we will be analyzing this type of latency. Now our lab is simple. Now we know the crux, how we will be analyzing the latency in our application. So now in the simple lab step, we can overgo that. First we have loaded our application which contain various API. Now we load the dependency, that is Google, to redirect to Google whenever dependency come. Then we add the trace exporter code here. What is trace exporter code? So first we will see what is trace and what is span. Trace is the life cycle of each request to and from the application. Means all the requests that is sent by this app to the Google. Means all the requests that is sent by this app, means 7 requests, 8 requests, all the requests that is sent by this app to the Google, all the collection of that request is called trace. And the building block of a distributed, means this single to and fro request, means one single to and fro request is called the trace span. So here we can also see that each span each span represent a specific request and response pair involved in the serving the user request. Means I have sent a user request to the Google that find the user with this user ID, and Google respond me with an answer. Now this is one trace span. Now all the request means thousand of, there may be thousand of requests present, so all the collection of that thousand requests means total information is called trace. So here we in the if we go to our previous step, that is we added the code for trace exporter. Means we here we say we are saying application to send request to the dependency, that is Google, so that a request may be sent to this and we can analyze the latency in that. And then we add a sleep time. Means there is some gap of some seconds between every request, which is we mentioned 200 millisecond. And then we will use Google Cloud Trace to analyze the latency in the application. And then we first download all the dependency using the terminal and mvn package command. Then we start our application here, and then we go to the trace list in Google Cloud Console. And there we can see that the request, first here we trigger the API. We have started the application is running, but we have not that triggered the API. Means we have not sent any request to the Google. So to send the any request to the Google, we use the command to trigger the API. Means to say to the API to send a request to the Google, that is to call the delivery boy to take a order from this restaurant. So this command is doing that. And here we analyze that here when we search trace list in the Google Cloud Console, we see all the this collection is called trace, and an individual latency is called the trace span. So here we see the trace span of a one request, which is 2008 millisecond. Here 2000 millisecond is due to the sleep timer which we have added earlier. So this is all the thing that that we see in this lab, that how we can analyze the latency in our application, which can cause bottleneck in our bottleneck, that is a degradation in our performance of the application. So in the next lab we will be seeing how degradation in performance can be caused due to the application performance issues due to the CPU utilization or memory usage, for which we will be using uh, profiler. And thank you.